Hi everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of Pageant Preparation, I'm going to be talking about 5 ways you can get over that post-pageant slump, or what is more commonly known as post-pageant depression, and yes, it's a real thing. If you're new here, I'm Nikita Tanwani, former Femina Miss India Andhra Pradesh, and now a model, actor, content creator, and pageant coach. And if you want to work with me for your upcoming pageant this year, then click the link in the description box below where you can book a session with me. I've been coaching clients for pageants for about 4 years now. And one of the things that never changes is the post pageant slump. And I like to mentally prepare my clients beforehand because the reality of beauty pageants is that only one of you is going to win the crown and the title. And that is why I spoke about setting goals outside of pageantry in my earlier video, where I talk about how you should prepare for your first pageant ever. This industry comes with a lot of rejection, and it's important that you are taking care of your mental and physical well being so that you can give your best but also handle any situation thrown at you, rejection being a pretty common situation here. So if you competed in a pageant few weeks ago, or you're about to compete in one this year, then this video is for you because you need to know what's in store for you. My number one tip is a social media detox. When you step into pageantry, one of the most important things you have to do is create a personal brand and raise awareness about it on social media, where you should have an online presence in order to win a crown or title these days. However, as much as it pays to be connected to the world, it should not be done at the expense of your inner well being. And especially after a pageant, it is difficult and it hurts to be online and to see your feed filled with pictures of the winner and the title that could have been yours. And I know it's not easy because I've been there. So if you're going through a post-pageant slump phase, and remember, it is going to be a phase, things will get better, I recommend that you do a social media detox. You can go and unfollow or mute all of the pageant pages, the pageant organization for a while right after the pageant, when it's extremely difficult for you to just deal with the disappointment of the result. And yes, it's not a healthy way to completely be in denial, and that's not what I'm asking you to do. However, you need to prioritize yourself. Your body has been through a lot. You've put in so much energy and investment into this, and you get to have a mourning period. You get to grieve about what happened. And for that, as much as you are grateful for the opportunities that it gave you, you can take a break from social media for a while and choose to customize your feed to things that motivate you and inspire you, rather than poke at the wound that is quite fresh right now. The second thing that you're going to do in your post pageant slump phase is you're going to reflect. Having a journal can be a really good idea for this time. You may have not been able to journal during the pageant. I know, because been there, done that. But remember that you take time to reflect and jot down all of the learnings, the opportunities that came your way, and things that you got to experience that you wouldn't have gotten a chance to if you hadn't been in the beauty pageant. Something I did after my pageant got over back in 2019 is I definitely wrote down all of the important learnings that I had from people who have achieved so much, whether it was my national director or whether it was the talent scout. And these people are so experienced. They work with clients, they work with young women throughout the year, and there's so much to learn from them, just as entrepreneurs, as strong, inspiring ladies in leadership positions. So make sure that you reflect back on just the kind of people you got to be surrounded by solely because of the fact that you were a finalist at the pageant. And trust me, there are thousands of women who would kill to be in your shoes. So let's be grateful for that. Reflecting back on your journey not just might change your mindset and your perspective towards the whole situation, but if you're planning on continuing to compete in pageantry, it's going to be a super helpful exercise for you so that you can learn from your experiences and prepare to do better in the next upcoming pageant. My third tip for you is treat yourself. Yes, it's really, really important. Do not punish yourselves. Do not be too hard on yourselves. And maybe you were on a crash diet, which I don't personally recommend, But if you have been dieting, it's okay to go treat yourself, go bonkers for a while, whether it's a spa or whether it's a pizza party, whatever is your definition of a treat, do that for yourself. After my pageant got over, I remember I took 2 whole weeks off of work where all I did was give my skin a much needed break from the heavy makeup that was going on in the pageants. I went for massages and I ate all of my favorite foods that I had been controlling myself to not eat when the pageant was going on. And trust me, it really helped me get back into my regular routine life. And it was great to be surrounded by friends and family who don't really care whether or not you won the title. They're just happy to welcome you back. So, whether or not you won the title, you could still have a homecoming. My next tip, and this is one of my favorites, is build a dream tree. This is something I would want each one of you to do, whether or not you're competing in a pageant. But if you have just finished competing in a beauty pageant, it's important to go back to the foundation, to go back to your dream tree, which you should have established at the beginning of your pageant. And if you still haven't, then you can start right now. What a dream tree means is it involves listing down all of your goals and your dreams beyond the pageant. So if you haven't won the pageant, what is the next goal? Are you trying to be a motivational speaker, or are you trying to be a volunteer at a certain organization, or are you trying to be the brand ambassador of a skincare brand that was sponsoring the beauty pageant? So many of my co-contestants who competed alongside me but still did not win the title are now acting in Bollywood movies. Some of them have become anchors and hosts on national TV channels. Some of them have their own businesses that are flourishing. One of them has a wedding decor business. I have my own coaching brand. Another has her own jewelry business. And the possibilities are endless. And all of these dreams actually began while we were competing in that pageant. And so while pageants give you a platform to do so much for the world and create an impact, they also open up your eyes to the opportunities that exist in the industry. And you may not want to become a model or an actor or a dancer, but you could become an entrepreneur and you could just do so much with your brand. This is a story that I've shared before where our national director at our beauty pageant had once sat down all of the contestants and she asked us all this one question: how many of you have envisioned winning the crown and the title? And all of the hands went up. However, when she went on to ask, how many of you have envisioned not winning on stage that night? Not a lot of us were prepared for that. And it was such an important learning lesson that day because she taught us all to be realistically prepared for not winning the title and to have our own dream tree which exists beyond pageantry. I had my own dream diary 4 years ago, and a lot of those dreams have come true, and some of them are still in the pipeline. This year, I started with another dream diary, and I hope to accomplish these dreams in the next 5 years as well. And pageantry was just one milestone in that journey. And my very last but most important, crucial tip for handling post pageant slump, which is going to entirely shift your perspective, is to make the most of the spotlight. In Hindi, we say, Loha garam hai. Even if you did not end up winning the main title, trust me, your social media would be buzzing, and this is when you have the most number of eyes on you than ever before. Now it's up to you what you make out of it. If you're planning to compete in another pageant, then this would be the time where you continue establishing your personal brand so that it's easier for you to get sponsors and designers for your next beauty competition. And if your immediate goal is not competing in a pageant, maybe you've aged out and your goals, as per your dream tree, is to perhaps start a business or start a podcast or a YouTube channel, or you want to become a blogger, or if you just want to grow your business, now would be the time. A strong example of someone who really pushed her personal brand right after the competition is Natasha Joubert, who is now Miss South Africa. But after she competed in Miss Universe a few years ago and ended up not placing, it was a huge shocker to the audience worldwide. However, right after the pageant, she was not someone who took a back seat, but rather she was more active on her social media than ever before, which not only boosted her own designer label, but also helped her grow a team that was going to be rooting for her and with her every step of the way when she competes at the national pageant again a few years later. After the pageant, she was not involved in gossiping about why Miss Universe did not pick her or why she didn't place, and she was not addressing any of those headlines. However, she was talking about how grateful and proud she was to be able to represent South Africa, which really, really helped when she competed at Miss South Africa once again and ended up winning and representing the country, which is what her eventual goal was. How you handle your post pageant slump is also something that directors and talent scouts are going to be observing in your country and all across the world. And you never know who had you in mind for a certain title. And you might just get nominated to represent your country in a different way, or you might become the brand ambassador of a certain brand. You never know what's going to happen. So, what is important is that you handle rejection with grace. We have examples such as Ojaswi Sharma, who did not place at Miss Diva earlier, but she went on to become Liva Miss Diva Popular Choice. We also have the example of Pragna Ayagari, who was my student. And while she only placed top 5 at Femina Miss India, she was later handpicked and nominated to represent India at Miss Supranational, which was an opportunity nobody saw coming, but it's also the grace with which she handled defeat at the first pageant. So, these are my 5 tips on how to handle post pageant slump or post pageant depression. I hope these tips are useful to you. I know that this alone will not help you get over the disappointment because it is a really tough phase right now, but know that it's a phase and things get better if you choose to focus on the bright side of things. So if you found this video helpful, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, I love you guys so much and I will see you very soon in my next one. Bye.